There's one SpongeBob episode that fans think was a mistake. It's one of those episodes with altered personalities, and I personally kinda like it. But after watching it again, they might actually be right. This episode does something a little more dangerous than just giving Squidward everything he ever wanted. It flips the formula that made SpongeBob feel like SpongeBob. And whether the writers meant to or not, they accidentally revealed a truth most people were never supposed to notice. A truth about the show's emotional logic. And once you see it, you'll never look at these characters the same way again. So this is how things usually go in Bikini Bottom. Squidward is sleeping beautifully. Meanwhile, SpongeBob and Patrick, not sleeping. They're sitting on the side of his bed, waiting to watch the sunrise with Squidward at 3:47 a.m. And according to SpongeBob,
we come here every morning.
Squidward is, understandably, horrified. Although, they've apparently broken into Squidward's house for every holiday, too. There's even a memory book, with one of them kissing Squidward on Valentine's Day with lipstick. That's definitely past the line of friendly, I suppose. And what's really messed up is SpongeBob and Patrick didn't see this as creepy. This is what they see as friendship, just zero boundaries. So after 3 hours worth of reasonable crash out from Squidward, he kicks them out. And by kicks them out, I mean he throws them over a fence using a picnic catapult. Then, just to make it crystal clear that he's had enough, he installs a high-voltage electric fence around his house. So much for neighbors' trouble. But you know what's amazing about this? This technically still counts as a normal SpongeBob setup. This is how normal episodes usually go. SpongeBob and Patrick cause problems, Squidward suffers, and we all laugh because his pain is oddly satisfying, at least to some extent. At this point, we've seen this cycle play out dozens of times, so you'd expect the next scene to follow the same logic, right? Yeah, no. This episode drops the usual routine and decides to take a sharp turn. A weird one. Squidward zaps himself in trying to kick SpongeBob and Patrick out of the house. The zap is so lethal, it switches something in his brain. SpongeBob and Patrick actually looked concerned for once. They decide to leave Squidward alone right before he says the magic words.
Do they have cute seahorses there?
I don't know what kind of voltage that fence was pumping, but it basically rewired Squidward's brain. Suddenly, Squidward wants to go to the petting zoo. He's asking about scallops nibbling on fingers. He's in a wagon being pulled around town by SpongeBob and Patrick like he's their spoiled toddler. It feels weirdly good to see Squidward smiling and laughing while hugging them both. After 5 seasons worth of losing, this is the last thing I expected to see from Squidward. By the time they drop him off at home, he leans out the window like a sitcom finale. And SpongeBob realized it too. He said that Squidward actually feels happier. They're genuinely happy for him because finally, Squidward is willing to take part in the shenanigans and enjoy his time with them. It's wholesome and weird. It's almost like this could be the start of something new. But if you know this show, you also know that something always goes badly. Because Squidward's sudden change is the first mistake. Come the next morning, the setup is reversed. Squidward is now in SpongeBob's room, waiting to watch the sunrise together. He honks SpongeBob awake like he's the foghorn alarm now. You know, the thing SpongeBob used to do to him. And from this point, things escalate fast. He shares a newspaper with SpongeBob, flosses SpongeBob's teeth, they even walk together very closely to work. Now Squidward is the neighbor without boundaries. This man has been fully changed. And SpongeBob is not the only one feeling that change. At Krusty Krab, Squidward gives out free hats to children, offers tartar sauce to customers, and asks every single person how their day is. Like, way too many times.
How are we today? Everything A-okay here?
Even Mr. Krabs gets concerned. Well, not by the kindness, but by the free stuff. That's the real danger in Krabs' eyes. But that's not the big issue here. The real issue here is Squidward's messing with the natural order of Bikini Bottom. Krusty Krabs runs on negativity, sarcasm, and SpongeBob's chaotic optimism bumping up against Squidward's lifelong hatred of everything. And now that Squidward's cheerful, there's no resistance or tension. Just a second SpongeBob, and Bikini Bottom doesn't know what to do with it, especially SpongeBob. At first, SpongeBob tries to be cool about it. Sure, Squidward's acting different. He's also smiling more, helping out, and giving free stuff. But that's fine. He's just being friendly, right? Well, not when Squidward starts showing up everywhere. In the pineapple, at the grill, right between SpongeBob and his Krabby Patty. Like physically wedging himself in. SpongeBob simply can't give away the title of best fry cook in town. In his mind, no one could make a Krabby Patty better than him. So he refuses any patties that come from Squidward's hands or tentacles. saying that it took years of practice and Squidward will never be up to it. He's ready to toss them out until Mr. Krabs shows up like,
They look okay to me. You know, he might be as good a fry cook as you.
oof. And just like that, the jealousy began. He didn't like the new Squidward, because in an effort to simply perform at his job, Squidward unintentionally proves that he's a better employee than SpongeBob. Better at frying patties, better at handling customers, even better at decorating Krabby Patties. Squidward's just so much better now, he snatched the Employee of the Month award effortlessly. That's when SpongeBob realized the real threat behind the new Squidward. Because if Squidward is cheerful now, and helpful, and beloved by customers, then what's left for SpongeBob? Who is he if Squidward's better at being SpongeBob than he is? For SpongeBob, this whole drama is more about identity. And more than anything, it's about his place in the weird little triangle between him, Patrick, and Squidward. Spoiler alert, that triangle also got tilted. Patrick suddenly walks in with a surprise delivery for the Employee of the Month.
I wonder who it could be.
And SpongeBob? He just points to the crowd, where Squidward is being tossed into the air like a rock star. SpongeBob just realized his losses. There's nothing more he could do. He had to swallow the fact that he's no longer the favorite employee. He even helped Patrick rewrite the name on the cake. It's just painful. Later that night, SpongeBob's sitting alone at a party that was supposed to be his, just staring at his slice of cake like it personally betrayed him. And the cherry on top?
Pogo dancing with your best friend.
That's it. That's the line. SpongeBob snaps and says, maybe you can take my job and you can take my picture off the wall, but nobody goes pogo dancing with Patrick besides me. And then he continues with kicking Squidward from his own celebration party and resumes the pogo dance with Patrick. That's just mean, SpongeBob, and egotistic, if I'm being honest. There are only so many Squidward happy moments, and now you're the one taking one away. Squidward just can't win, man. But I also get the emotions from SpongeBob's side. Deep down, SpongeBob wasn't mad that Squidward was winning. He was only scared that the people he loved didn't need him anymore. He just couldn't help it. So yeah, Squidward leaves, heartbroken and quiet, and touches the electric gates one more time. One jolt to the brain, and the balance is restored. Or no, I guess, since SpongeBob and Patrick get zapped too. And in the biggest full circle twist of the episode, now the three of them are acting grumpy and miserable. That's pretty much the episode. You know what? I really hope they made a direct sequel to this episode. I would pay to see an episode with three of them dissing everybody. But yeah, this episode just ends there without any real conclusion or finale. This episode doesn't teach anyone how to grow, it doesn't reward Squidward for being different, it also doesn't punish SpongeBob for being insecure. It just shows what happens when the emotional structure of a show, or a friend group, changes. Before we talk about the mistake this episode made, let me get one thing straight. This isn't a bad episode. It's clever and funny, it has great pacing and an actual emotional arc. In fact, if you just look at the surface, this might seem like one of the more thoughtful post-movie episodes SpongeBob's had. It's also nice to see SpongeBob taste his own medicine sometimes. So why do some fans say it feels like a mistake? Simply put, because it broke a rule that the show usually doesn't touch: the emotional balance between SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward. You see, SpongeBob's character works because of contrast. SpongeBob is the sunshine, Squidward is the thundercloud, and Patrick is the enigma in between. SpongeBob's character feels brighter because there's someone at the other side of the scale, rolling their eyes and screaming, wishing it would all stop. Squidward. But you take Squidward's character away, and the triangle snaps. Now you've got two sunshines and one enigma. It just doesn't work. So guess what? Someone has to fill the miserable role. And in this case, it's SpongeBob. Like some ancient unwritten rule where one must suffer so the other can shine. Call it karma, call it narrative structure, call it Bikini Bottom's weird emotional physics engine. But it's just the way it works. Now, to be fair, this isn't the first time SpongeBob flipped the roles on us. The show's actually done it a few times in the past. Remember Opposite Day, when Squidward tricked SpongeBob to be his opposite so he could sell his house? Or something like The Two Faces of Squidward, where he becomes handsome, nice, and accidentally turns into a celebrity. The difference is that those episodes were either temporary disguise or just handsome privilege in action. The changes weren't genuine. But Breath of Fresh Squidward? It plays it completely straight. No one plays pretend. Both Squidward and SpongeBob genuinely did what they would have done in this situation. It also sparks a weird question. Is this what we wanted? Did we want Squidward to win if it meant watching SpongeBob being the grumpy one? Did we want him to be happy if it turned him into the same overbearing force we used to hate in SpongeBob? Maybe not. It also feels kinda wrong in a way. Because even though Squidward's smile was satisfying, it came at the cost of what makes Squidward relatable in the first place. Maybe the truth is, we want Squidward to win, only if he stays grumpy in the process. Unfortunately, this episode also served as proof that no matter how much Squidward wants to be happy, he can't. He still has to get tortured and grumpy to even out the scale. You can change the player, but you can't change the game. You can change everything in Bikini Bottom, but the rule will stay the same. It's somewhat poetic, I think. So yeah, everything resets, nobody wins, nobody learns. But somehow, that's what makes it feel like classic SpongeBob again. Because roles matter, even if we don't realize why. So next time you're watching SpongeBob goof off while Squidward yells from inside a bubble bath, just know it's all part of the balance. It's a mistake to change it. And if this episode made you think, maybe the rules of this world go deeper than we thought, you're not wrong. Because in our last video, we talked about something even weirder. The most powerful object in SpongeBob finally solved. So if you're into theories, hidden rules, and chaotic sea logic, you might want to check that one out. Just don't bring Squidward. He's had enough.